are getting bamboozled. No more Danmachi, man. Indefinite hiatus. Indefinite. As of last I've heard it apparently was indefinite. Some people are saying it's coming back in like spring 2025 or something like that. But random people have been telling me that it's not necessary. It is JC Staff's fault because the author stepped in and said, do this better, I think. Again, I have no clue if this is true or not. My assumption was that maybe the War Games arc to conclude, you know, this crazy arc with Freya is not doing, it's just not getting, you know, the justice it deserves. So, Chibi, production meltdown just killed this anime. Let's check it out.
Danmachi Season 5 episodes have been delayed until further notice.
Yeah.
News. Danmachi Season 5 Episode 12 delayed indefinitely due to production issues.
Womp womp.
This is the official post from Danmachi that takes you to their site, and upon going to their site, here's...
Oh shit, Otaru, look at him! But we're not gonna get that. A lot of people are gonna forget about this, man. Here's the thing, with and I'm sure Chibi will mention this too, but like, bro, y'all remember Isekai Oji-san? Anybody watch that anime? Anybody watching actually Our Last Crusade season 2? How about Whisper Me a Love Song, the Yuri anime, which actually came back after what, like a half a year fucking production issue and just recently dropped like 2 episodes? How about The Misfit of Demon King Academy season 2, where half a fucking year it just went on hiatus, then it reran the episodes and it came back. These production issues really kills the hype and momentum for seasonal anime. And if you were to watch Isekai Oji-san right now, you have all the episodes available. I'm sure it'd be a great watch. But the frustration that comes from people that's been watching on like a weekly basis, suddenly there's like, it comes out every other month without any update. People don't even know what the fuck is going on. All the momentum dies off, and it's so tragic how the anime just simply will not perform as it deserves.
Here's the Japanese version, here's the translated version. They say that the last 4 episodes of Season 5 has been delayed until early spring 2025.
Womp womp!
Anyone else getting 86 flashbacks? I know...
Oh, 86 also had those issues, huh? Well, 86 was airing when I first... 86 was one of the first series I ever reacted to on my first channel. Before, you know, the second channel was made. And I didn't... Season 2 was already out, so I guess I kind of like skipped that production issue there.
Oh, I know I am. Anyone else getting Nier Automata flashbacks? I know I am. I feel like we've been here before.
That's right. Nier Automata, bro, that shit got done dirty so hard.
I feel like we have been down this path before. I feel like this is just some straight up deja vu. And we are seeing a reenactment of what has happened to countless anime for the last few years.
Now, are these the same cases, though? Because, again, the production issues happening internally from the studio because of their incompetent talent or, you know, scheduling, that is different from the author stepping in and saying, stop, this isn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Danmachi taking it, again, I don't know how true this is. Just people are just telling me shit. Surely people wouldn't lie online. But if it's true that the author of Danmachi stepped up and saw the draft or, you know, the previews of what's going to happen in the next couple episodes to end the war game, my assumption is that he said, fuck this. This is not good enough. Therefore, you need to stop this and make it better, and we'll wait. And if this is actually true, I'm all for it. I'm all for waiting so that the last couple episodes gets the treatment that it deserves. But again, like, who is saying that the author is stepping in doing this shit? Surely people wouldn't lie online, right? I mean, another thing is JC Staff, right? What's the studio doing this? It's JC Staff. What are they known for? Pumping out 10 seasonal anime at once. And it's not surprising that when you have so many different fucking projects, and I'm sure they have a lot of different teams to kind of like, you know, offload the burden rather than one team working on every project. You have like, it seems to me that talent, you know, they prioritize Danmachi as like the most important thing. Then it was Mao 2099 of the animes that I personally watched in fall 2024. And then it seems to be like Do Over Damsel, right? There's quality differences, like a breakpoint happening that I've seen. So it's not too surprising that when you take so much projects at once that issues like this happens. And the war game, man, the momentum, the hype, come on.
Now there's quite a few things to talk about, but for one in particular, full-blown just meltdown of production. Like, just straight up, the entirety of Danmachi's Season 5's production has just melted down. Complete production collapse to where they had to delay the last 4 episodes, just 4 episodes, until spring of next year. Now, to be fair, that's not too long. I mean, it's December. We're at the end of December, and so that means if
we gotta get through, basically we gotta get through winter. But like, bro, even like a 1 month hiatus is too long. People forget so quick. People's attention spans, it just dies off. And here's the interesting thing about Danmachi though. I think that Danmachi will be fine. If this was a completely new anime with not a strong fandom already established, then it's gonna suffer like crazy. But Danmachi is in its 5th season. There isn't really tourists checking this shit out. Hardcore fans will watch it in spring no matter what, but obviously it's better if this didn't happen.
If we factor in the normal length of an anime season, that means, like, for instance, we're going to have, like, January, February, March. Then Danmachi will return in April, or at the very least May, somewhere around in there. So we know for a fact that it's not that long, but it does showcase an inherent issue that, once again, has been plaguing not just JC staff, but the anime industry as a whole for a very long time. So first off, we gotta look at who's working on Danmachi and all that, and who's the producer.
8.02 rating. I think that's fair, bro. I think that Danmachi quality has been really good. Am I crazy? Am I glazing this shit too much? Even me, a monkey, can tell that Danmachi quality, the production side, it's been pretty fucking crisp, right?
Producers and everything, and one good look at the situation instantly outlines the current issue.
JC staff,
and then also just look at all these producers attached to the show. Like, oh my goodness. But,
just click JC staff and you'll see how many different seasonal anime they're working on this season.
Basically, JC staff is very well known for, churning out a lot of anime at once. Like, I believe this season, this anime season, fall of anime.
I only know, I'm only watching 3 of the, JC staff animes, but I think there's more than that.
2024, they have released about 7 to 8 different anime.
What?
All airing at once for this season. And
Jesus.
I want to put this in perspective for a second, okay? This is the top 20 largest anime studios by employees, okay?
And when you say employees, do you mean animators? I mean, it says it's studio employees, because I thought that maybe they could, obfuscate the numbers by having random people that's maybe on the production committee side of things who aren't actually talent working on the anime, drawing shit. So I thought it could be, inflated, but let's look at here. JC staff is 3rd last. That's crazy, bro. Toei has the most. Sunrise has a lot too, huh? Interesting. But JC staff is 3rd last. And Mappa, where's Madhouse? Where's Madhouse? I don't see Madhouse. I was trying to make a comparison of a staff, like a studio that has a lot of employees, but they only pump out 1 or 2 animes per year because it's just super fucking quality. It's crazy that the staff that is, the studio that's the 3rd last also has pretty much the most amount of anime being produced.
Okay, so this does not count. I want to make sure I clarify this. This does not count freelancers, like people that are called in from different countries, like freelance.
That's also very true, right? Freelancers are the most important. Most people, most good talent actually are just freelancers, right? Rather than in-house staff members.
Animators or workers that's maybe in different countries. This does not count that. This is on paper, actually registered for those companies, official employees for those companies. And so if you look at the list here, you see JC staff's not even in the top 10. It is at the bottom at number 18. It has, at the most, about 200 or less than 200 official main employees for its company, but the output of anime that JC staff delivers is way higher.
It's like a fucking inverse correlation
than pretty much every other single studio that is on this list. Yes, even higher than Studio Mappa. And so when you factor in how many employees officially they have, not including freelancers, and then how much anime they output every given season, it makes sense why we have just straight up full-blown production collapsing because of that outcome.
Yeah, again, that chart, even if it doesn't show the freelance numbers, I don't think it takes a genius to realize that, hey, how many animes do they produce compared to every other studio? A lot fucking more. Relatively how much, in-house staff are missing. Even though freelancers matter. I think it makes a lot of sense that, they're just gonna have issues like this if you take too much shit on your plate.
They don't have enough people to work on said series. And it is just insane how these companies operate, because this obviously isn't just a JC staff issue. This does fundamentally come down to just a lot of these different animation studios, like Mappa, for instance. You know, Toei used to have probably a lot of issues as well. All these companies in general do have issues.
This is also not an anime studio issue specific problem, by the way. The practice of trying to pump out as much value as possible, corporate value, with like a skeleton crew, limiting headcount, and trying to overwork staff to appease shareholders. This is just capitalism in a nutshell. It exists in every single fucking industry.
Besides Kyoto Animation, they are one that has kind of branched out and been very different in comparison to other companies.
So what should we feel for One Punch Man? We should feel great for One Punch Man. Because my uncle, again, is Mr. JC staff, by the way. And my uncle told me that they dropped Danmachi and the other projects to focus on One Punch Man Season 3. So rejoice, One Punch Man fans. My uncle told me that.
But in general, animation studios, they're really bad when it comes to just, like, really budgeting and, like, being on schedule often. I mean, they can do it, but oftentimes it's an absolute mess. And JC Staff is a new example of just how they are continuously trying to pump stuff out like slop, and then it just...
I don't necessarily think that they're pumping out slop, though. And maybe I haven't seen the other slop anime. Because again, I've only seen Mao 2099, Do Damsel, and Danmachi. Even though, like, again... It's weird for me to glaze JC staff right now when they're kind of fucking up Danmachi. I feel like it's actually really impressive. The sheer volume of content they're able to pump out with a pretty decent standard that is better than most other fucking studios pumping out garbage anime. Do Damsel, I fucking hate it because of the storytelling. The dialogue happens at fucking 4x speed because they're trying to include every single bit of dialogue, and it's just the exposition dump is stupid. But I mean, with the limited resources they have, it is very interesting how, like, there's a fundamental quality difference, like different breakpoints, again, from Danmachi to Mao 2099 and Do Over Damsel. And with the limited, I guess, resources, talent they have, they're still able to pump out a pretty much like a passable, entertaining experience that doesn't really feel like slop.
Just collapses in because they're not able to continue that, like, output, and that's what happens. So Danmachi is a product, or this hiatus that we got.
It's also stupid how jacked Otara is, bro. Bro's got fucking bowling balls for a shoulder, the traps, the fucking chest, the biceps, the forearms, bro. 1, 2, 3, 6 bowling balls, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got 10 fucking bowling balls attached to him.
Is a product of mismanagement from the higher-ups at JC staff, the production committee and all that, forcing this company to continuously pump out as many shows as they possibly can every...
Yo, Senshi, you should make a video on this. Blue Lock Season 2 finale. A redemption arc or missed potential? Did Blue Lock Season 2 redeem itself? Is Blue Lock Season 2 the downfall of modern anime practices? Think about this. think about this, right? There's so much content to be farmed off of Blue Lock even though it's over.
Every single season. Now, I do want to talk about a few things that is legitimately tragic about this. Danmachi Season 5 has been amazing. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not a light novel reader. I do want to clarify.
I'm gonna give this shit 9 out of 10 so far. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm glazing because I just love Danmachi's story so much. But the quality, oh goddamn. It's probably because of Freya. It's the Freya fan service. The horny is making me jump the 8 to the 9.
So I don't know the changes, if there's changes, and I'm assuming there is changes. I don't know the changes from, let's say, the original source, like the anime and all that, how different it is from the light novel. But as a anime only, I like Danmachi.
Yes.
Season 5 is great. Besides, obviously, this hiatus.
Like, every season has been, I think, so fucking good. Seasons, I can't really remember Season 1 again. I do remember very clearly, though, Season 2, 3, 4, and now 5. They've been really fucking good.
And the thing about the situation is that Danmachi has clearly gained a lot of momentum in these last few months. I have seen a lot of conversation around Danmachi, more than I ever have, honestly. And
Most of the conversation is just people horny posting about Freya and Danmachi season 5 ending.
It's very clear it's gained a lot of popularity. And so it's legitimately sad to me seeing a series really resurge and get more popularity than it ever has. And it now, because of this hiatus,
Just kills
it's going
it.
to force people to basically just not care anymore. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, there's going to be dedicated fans that are going to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly, like, there's no way to, you know, get a distribution, like statistical distribution of tourist versus hardcore fans. You'd have to do a survey, but what would even be like the way to do a statistical, like, significant population to do a survey on, right? You just can't get that sample size. But I am thinking that due to the nature of it being into 5th season, bro, not like a first season anime, 5 seasons deep, you would have to have watched all fucking 4 seasons behind. No, people wouldn't just jump into season 5 just because of Freya. So I believe that there's going to be a strong enough fandom. My belief is that when spring comes, the fandom will still be very strong. And the tourists, I just don't think there's that much tourists for a show that's 5 seasons deep.
But I feel like there's going to be a large gap. That 3 to 4 month gap is a long time. A lot can happen in that brief period of time. New shows come out, a lot of time passes, and people move on. People move on to the next big thing. Because, like, 3 months from now is a long time, technically, even if it doesn't feel like it. Because, you know, think about this. In just
Zom 100. Look at Zom 100, bro. And ain't nobody giving a fuck about that. Our Last Crusade, no one ever gave a fuck about that from the beginning, so it's not a good example. Misfit of Demon King Academy, a lot of people just dropped that show entirely as soon as, you know, season 2 in the first half, right? There was like a fucking 6-month hiatus. That shit was crazy. Isekai Oji-san already gave you that example. This stuff just kills the momentum.
A few months, we're going to have ReZero return. We're going to have, you know, a bunch of other new series come in. That could be a dark horse that blows up and can become the next big thing for the next decade.
I'm really hoping. No, I don't think the Oji-san villainous anime, you know? The the balding 40-year-old man bureaucrat is now a villainous anime, is gonna be that dark horse. But would a villainous anime like that ever be big enough to reach, you know, a huge mainstream audience? I don't think so. I think it's a little bit too niche. But there's a lot of interesting new titles showing up. What about how about this? My bets, and it's probably gonna be a stupid bet because people don't like Studio Gohans. But what about that anime coming up? You know? Winter 2025, there's a new anime from Studio Gohans. It's like an apocalyptic setting with moe girls doing cute things but having trauma, I guess. Nah, the only thing, it's probably gonna get roasted on Twitter. Yeah, Momentary Lily, it's probably gonna get roasted on Twitter. It's probably gonna be talked about, not in a nice way.
Who really knows? A lot can happen, so to speak. And so, factoring in these delays, it does really harm Danmachi that any...
You're gonna do a Gohan slander? Honestly, do it. I think that Gohan's, the way they do the camera work, I appreciate that they're trying something new. Now, it's not really new, right? They've been trying this for a long time. The Studio Gohan is known for that fucking, the camera work that gives people seizures. But I just appreciate that they're trying to do something different, even though a lot of people just clown on it the entire time because the polish and the quality is not really there. But a concept like that, if someone else could take it and just like make it so that it's well received by the audiences, I think it'd be cool to see different styles of art like that.
Anything else. Now, obviously, getting into the good aspect of this, it is better to have a delayed product than a rush product that is just ass. Let's be honest.
True.
I'd much rather see it delayed and look as good as it possibly can.
True.
But effectively, the reason why this has happened is because JC staff likes to output 8 different series every single season. They only have 200 to less than 200 employees, not counting freelancers, which obviously they're going to headbutt into a wall eventually. It's bound to happen. And Danmachi is one of those series that headbutt.
I appreciate it, but it's a dog shit should be the title of your video of the Gohan slander. I appreciate Studio Gohans, but it's dog shit. That's such a clickable title.
Butted itself right into a wall, and it can't do anything about it, which is why it's had to been delayed, because they can't get it out in time. They're working on too much at once. But
Yep.
the point I'm trying to get at is that like these delays in general kill a lot of hype and momentum. Like Nier Automata is such a good example of this because like I talked about this earlier this year and last year. I said Nier Automata was really good. It was off to a great start. It wasn't perfect, but it was off to a great start. It had
Yeah.
potential to be a huge anime, maybe not as big as let's say JJK or something, but it had potential to be big.
Did it have the potential? Now I can't speak on behalf of, like the popularity of this show because I know that the game and the IP is so fucking huge. But when I was doing, again, all I have is data from anime reactions on YouTube, and this is not a good sample of data to kind of like put a label on something to say like this is popular or not. But I believe there is some sort of scaling coefficient. Even if I don't get that many views compared to other people, there is like a scaling coefficient of is this anime popular or is this not? And my vibe on Nier when I was covering it is that not many people really gave a fuck. Genuinely, from the couple first episodes. I've watched like 2 or 3 episodes, made a couple reactions off of it. Performance was very bad on my channel, but also just because it's bad on my channel doesn't mean it's bad for everybody. But compared to everyone else's viewership too, this is definitely not, the Frieden or the crazy next big thing. It was okay though. I think that it was a very thought-provoking show that questioned a lot of deep complex themes of like machines and are we real or not, and I don't know, stuff like that. And then it went on hiatus and everyone forgot about it, and not even 2B's gigantic ass can save that.
But thanks to its continuous delays and, it was pushed off and pushed off longer and longer, it resulted in everybody's interest in the show basically dying. And, let's say Uncle from Another World,
Yeah.
that's also another example of
Brutal fucking episode distribution. After like the first 6 or 7 episodes, it went like on hiatus, and then every like 2 or 3 months a new episode would drop. It's like, what are we doing?
of like, another anime that really fell off because of the constant delays. Delays really can be good to make the product better.
Yes. If you're gonna recommend an anime that's already published and complete to a new person, they're not gonna find any differences, right? In fact, they're gonna be like, wow, this is a great anime. But the performance of that anime in terms of, I guess, like local ratings in Japan or like overseas ratings and like viewership like that shit dies off so quick. And I feel like that kind of data, like how well it performed, is really important for, let's say, is it gonna get a continuation? Did the project, did the anime that was, production committee invested this much money? And what's the return on investment of it? Did it perform well? The delay didn't, they honestly fucked it up. So now they're going to be like, let's cancel that project. You know what I mean? Shit like that really ruins it.
But it is also a double-edged sword where everybody's interest just, dwanes. They don't care anymore because, like, there's so much anime coming out every single season, every single week. And if you're an avid anime watcher or even manga reader, you're not going to care to keep up with something that is going to potentially get delayed once again. So
yeah, like the amount of volume of anime that comes out is ridiculous, and people forget shit so quick. And the average watcher cannot be bothered to go watch the previous episodes to remind themselves exactly what happened so they can understand the new episodes coming out.
Oh, I'm really sad because Danmachi Season 5 has been great. It has been a very good season. I have loved it. I took a lot of time out of my day to actually catch up with it, like watch all Season 4, catch up to Season 5. Love it. It's great. It's been a very good season. I'm not, like I said, a light novel reader, so I don't know how the original source is in comparison, but as anime only, been loving it. And so seeing this, it hurts as a fan because you know for a fact that, any momentum and popularity that it's been gaining is just basically going to flatline almost because of this. I mean,
but here's the caveat. And again, these are all the theories and assumptions, but I think there's some logic here that is compelling. And the logic that I'm going to provide of why Danmachi won't just bomb, like compared to, let's say, Isekai Oji-san, or let's say Zom 100, or a lot of these other animes that has season 1 hiatuses, is that I think that, again, Danmachi just has a core fandom that's diehards, that's willing to watch it in spring no matter what. And because of that, and again, why is it? Because it's 5 seasons deep. This is different from like a random new anime that people are just checking out for shits and giggles. Those are mostly tourists. I don't think Danmachi has that many tourists. Therefore, I believe that in spring, the fall off won't be as drastic compared to the other examples like Isekai Oji-san.
There's a few series that survived it to a degree, like let's think of 86. 86 had continuous delays many years ago.
Anybody know how long the 86 delay was?
And it caused so much problems. A lot of people were upset with it, but there was a dedicated fan base that stuck around. But I feel like thanks to all those constant delays, it's what really did harm 86 from maybe even getting a season 2. Why we haven't gotten a season 2 yet is probably because of the damage.
Hold up. I received some important things. All right. Community members sent some pictures in Discord that shows you the Danmachi author tweeting. What's he saying? I think they decided to stick to high quality Danmachi rather than minimum standard. I feel that this season's Danmachi 5, which is a lot of effort, proves that. I know you may feel lonely and sad, but I would appreciate it if you could just wait a little longer. Thank you very much. Okay. Next second tweet. I'm so sorry to everyone who is looking forward to episode 12. The 5th season of Goddess Fertility arc was a story that required a lot of energy in terms of the artwork, action, and number of characters, so I feel really sorry, since I am the one who cut the series composition. So that's the thing that I think people are assuming, that the author stepped in and said, fuck this shit, stop it right now, right? I am the one who cut the series composition. I don't know if the translating of Japanese here is accurate enough. The composition word is interesting, but can we not assume that the author stepped in and was like, wait, this is not the way that I envisioned the war games to end, this fertility arc. Therefore, I'm stepping in and we're going to redo or add on to the, I don't know, just like 4 episodes that's left. That was my assumption of like why people were saying, hey, author of Danmachi, is saying just pull out, we need to change something.
Those delays potentially caused, because you got to imagine CEOs and higher ups, they take a look at a product, and if it was damaged like that, they might not want to continue it. So it sucks seeing something like this for Danmachi.
Also, here's another thing. Here's another very interesting thing about why Danmachi, specifically with JC staff, might not encounter this problem. Before I talk to you about the nature of lack of tourist hardcore fans 5th season, right now we're talking about lack of performance that, discourages the production committee and investors to be like, let's get a second season highlighted. Danmachi is already a beloved priority pet of JC's staff, is it not? Like Railgun 2, is it not? Therefore, they probably wouldn't really care about this, right? Again, these are just assumptions. I don't know how much, this logic really holds, but I'm just assuming that because of the history of JC staff and Danmachi, and then the bond that the team has with the author, that they'd be willing to just say, all right, the stats tanked, it's obvious why it's tanked, but season 6, we're gonna fucking finish it, let's go.
This could have irreparable damage to its overall product, and I hope that is not the case. Hopefully, I'm thinking too hard into it, but even still, this sucks, man. It legitimately sucks seeing a delay like this. And once again, JC staff, they really need to understand, they need to stop outputting so much at once. I mean, this is just an anime industry problem, it is, but JC staff is definitely...
This is not just an anime industry problem, though. I'm sure Chibi didn't mean that the issue happening is exclusive to the anime industry. And what are we talking about? The common practice that exists in any aspect of capitalism, where you try to churn out as much profit as possible while limiting the amount of resources, that's actually needed to get that. Having a skeleton crew, having the least amount of employees to pump out and overwork them to provide as much value to the shareholders, this is not an anime industry specific problem.
Well known and notorious for doing stuff like this, and it's clear it's catching up with them. They're not able to output like that anymore because there's not enough animators, which is why they've had to heavily rely on freelance work just to be able to get some of their stuff out. So I do think that in general, going forward, hopefully JC staff restructures, because this is a total failure.
I don't think they're going to restructure. I think they're just going to continue what they're doing.
Of management, allowing something like this to happen. It's not the animator's fault, it's just management really doing a bad job with managing multiple projects and trying to take on too much at once. Like, JC staff, I want to be blunt with you. You're not Mappa. You're not Mappa. You're not. You're not Mappa. Like, Mappa has his own problems, but you're not Mappa, okay?
What? What are you trying to say right now? That, like, on a tier list of how hard you can push your workers, you ain't Mappa. You think you know human slavery? Yeah, right? I don't see your fucking animators tweeting you know, saying please save us. I don't see a single JC staff animator crying saying please help us. I mean, I actually love JC stuff. I do. I think that a lot of people have a lot of, you know, hatred for JC stuff based on a lot of unfair assessments of what was happening. The most important one probably being, again, One Punch Man Season 2. An impossible standard to live up to that caused a lot of controversy and hate towards the studio. How the fuck are you going to be able to keep with the quality that was created by Studio Madhouse? And not just Madhouse, again. It's the fucking talent that worked on that project. A passion project, a love letter to One Punch Man, right? Season 1, nothing's ever going to be like that. JC Staff, I think, does a perfectly good job. I've seen so much anime recently. I'm like, whoa, this is JC Staff? What the fuck? And then I'm like, wait, what happened to all the hate for JC Staff? You know, I'm like, I've been watching a JC Staff anime the entire time, and it's been this fucking good.
Okay. If you look at their employees, I mean, look, they have double of JC Staff, okay? That's not including the freelancers. So, yeah, JC Staff, accept that reality. You're not. But, anyways, I'll leave it at that. I wanted to keep everybody in the know for those that were unaware of it, because I know there is a lot of people that love Danmachi, and, you know, the episode date might come around, and you're, like, wondering, where's the episode? Well, there you go. The reason why it's not coming out is because it has been delayed until April 2025. So I love you guys. Peace.
April 2025. I wonder what day it's gonna come out. Hopefully April 20, because that's my favorite day. Here's a link to Chibi's video. Please go give it a like if you did, and check out his channel if you want to. And yeah, I mean, nothing you can do about it. I think Danmachi is still gonna be fine though. I think that the quality of the episodes obviously will be good. And in terms of the negative, you know, engagement that's gonna happen because of the delays, the amount of, you know, the viewership dying off, it is what it is, but I don't think this is going to hinder Danmachi and JC Staff from completing the show, because we're 5 seasons fucking deep. I think JC Staff is actually going to go the distance no matter what happens with this delay. See you next time.